It's been a year since I moved out from my aunt's place, and throughout this year, I've learned a few things worth mentioning. Since the very beginning, I was afraid. Everything felt like it happened too fast. Even when I think in retrospect about the time I lived with my aunt, it makes me wonder how I honestly felt back then and how she felt about me living with her. It feels weird because I moved from Guatemala, where I used to live with my mom. So technically, I moved out on my own. But since I stayed at my aunt's place, was it really moving out on my own? It was not until last year that I officially moved out with a friend because, spoiler alert, rent is expensive. Although I moved out of my house in Guatemala back in 2021, it was not until mid 2023 that I officially stopped living with my family. And it's strange to think about it that way. So, last month, June 20th, marked my first anniversary of paying rent. From now on, there is no such thing as not paying for the place where I sleep. I technically became an adult in my mid 20s, which is fine, I guess. I enjoy having my place, and it's a key moment in everybody's life. I'm I'm pretty sure. And it becomes this moment where you have to find a way to survive, and it's okay to think no one is going to come and save you because I'm the one supposed to save me. And it was something that I did not expect to happen last year. I was not fully prepared and was waiting for the right moment to make the move, but never felt ready. And before I knew it, it had already happened. It just did. And even though I was not prepared, it worked out well. I remember touring around so many buildings and different price ranges, which was exhausting. Added to that was the hope of getting accepted to the chosen one because getting rejected added so much stress. It made the search feel more like a hassle, and it felt like we were going against the current. I just think now that the June 20th is where my life really began, when the race really started. And it feels like that because it was real now. Nobody was waiting for me at home. No one was going to come and save me. And that sounded a little terrifying back then. But now, 1 year later, it was a milestone achieved and a great way to start living life as a real grown up. I've been thinking a lot about my age lately, not knowing if 26 is old enough to be considered a real adult, or if I'm just playing at being an adult, messing it up every day in different ways, trying not to screw up too badly so I can get back up. It's such an interesting phase in life because I guess I'm not supposed to have it all figured out. But it feels like I'm falling behind. And compared to what? I really don't know. Because every time I find myself comparing my life to others my age, I quickly realize that no one, no matter how young or old, really knows what they're doing when taking a new risk or betting on themselves to improve, trying to get to the next level. And it doesn't matter what game you're playing. It really does not matter if you're a beginner or an advanced player. Every time someone tries to level up, they face new monsters, new bosses. This means no one really knows how to beat those bosses, regardless of their level. Because by leveling up, you have to accept the fact and be humble enough to know you don't know how to actually do it, but be crazy enough or optimistic enough to give it a try without really knowing what is waiting for you on the other side. This gives me a sense of peace because whoever is trying to level up doesn't know how to do it, but we'll find out along the way. That's the biggest takeaway for me. Not to stop trying by thinking I should know how to do the thing beforehand. Just take action because by taking action and accepting the challenge facing the new boss, I put myself in a position where I'll have to make it work with the tools I find available at the moment. pushing myself into the unknown, trusting my brain will come up with solutions on the go, trusting I'll take over the boss and keep going, just doing the thing. And it was really eye opening to think of it this way and to let go of the idea of becoming an expert on something before doing it to avoid failure. The approach should always be to face the boss as soon as possible, to become an expert through repetition, by not giving up, by taking action and learning by doing, because there's no way to prepare for something I haven't done in my life. There was no way for me to know how paying rent would feel, how buying groceries and living by myself would feel before doing it. It might be a simple example, but I remember how I felt before taking the leap of faith, and it was terrifying because I hadn't done it ever. What if it didn't work out? What if I couldn't afford it in the long run? I was just wasting time and energy trying to overcome problems I hadn't faced yet, and not even expecting the ones that ended up happening. And it's not until you do the thing that you find yourself impressed by how you found a way out in the end and how much you learn by doing instead of overthinking it before it has even happened. Moving out and trying to live on my own terms and learning to be an adult has been a really good journey. It has shown me that no matter how hard it might look on paper and how impossible it might feel to achieve, there is a way to make it work. I just have to push myself out of my comfort zone and keep doing it to make things happen. There are always factors out of my control that influence my decision making. But in the end, I like to look back and see how I found ways to beat the boss with what I knew at the moment, because that was the best decision at the time. There's no way to make a better decision. It was the best I could do with what I knew at the time. And that sense of not caring how far from prepared I might be, I found a way to do it. And it's crazy to think it's been a year already. And I like to link moving out to this apartment to the real personal growth I think I have made. I like to think that since I live here in this tiny apartment, I started to really know myself and learn about what I want, or at least what I don't want in life. It's a constant reminder to take those leaps of faith and make it work on the road. Just being crazy and optimistic enough to try new things and face failure, taking it as lessons instead of only failures that will haunt me. Living here has taught me to trust my gut and make things work with what I have at the moment, because that's how extraordinary things happen. By thinking deep inside that it might work, but knowing for a fact that all the odds are against me and that is not going to be easy. Nothing worthwhile comes easy, and nothing meaningful comes without sacrificing a few things. I don't know how life would be if I hadn't moved to LA and hadn't moved to this apartment, and there is no way for me to find out how things would have ended up happening if it had been different. And what I know for a fact is that this is my journey, and I have enjoyed every part of it because I try to live and learn from every boss I face along the way. There is there's nothing I would change because every lesson has made me who I am, and I'm really liking who I am becoming. I am conscious enough to know there is a long way to go still, and there are many bosses I have to fight to have the life I want to have. I don't know how long it will take, how hard it will be, and how many times I will feel like giving up. But one thing I know is that I won't stop trying. I won't quit. And I have said it before, but I will not let myself down because it feels hard. And this is what hard feels like. To not know how to beat the boss and to not trust in myself, but still do the thing. To not care what others might think because I'm not living their lives and they are not living mine. This means we all have different bosses to beat, and we all live different circumstances. At the same time, I think many people struggle with not believing it is possible to achieve greater things. It is easy not to pursue greater things for one's life, but the only way for growth is to put yourself in uncomfortable situations where there is no other way out than pushing through and winning. Winning your own game, because we all play different games and have different definitions of success, but we all want it. And I'm trying to make mine happen. I'm trying to win the game I'm playing, not anybody else's game. That's the only way to actually win, I think. Because in the eyes of other people playing different games, it might look like I am not winning at all, not even close. But it doesn't matter because the game is different. The rules are different, and it is important to stick to the plan I have, to the blueprint I'm trying to craft, to the game rules I defined for myself. That is the only true way to win. And I'm playing my game, making mistakes, and pushing under my rules. I really think it would be great if everyone focused only on their game rather than comparing and trying to win to impress other people, because you would never win that way. At least this is what I think. And it is helping me not focus on other people to really make things work for me. Not comparing myself and playing my own game. Not wasting energy on someone else's game, which is irrelevant. Doesn't matter at all. Yo soy Bruno, and I'll see you in the next one.